Hi friends, I am Kori. I am a photographer and I am the creator of Stories with Kori. And whether you have been hanging out with us for a long time or today is your first story ever, we are so grateful that you are here. We have a heart to share the stories of people finding grit and strength, working hard to take those next steps forward. We know that life can be hard sometimes, but we believe that it is always better when we take those next steps forward together. And so we invite you to hang out with us today, hear today's story, and we hope that you find encouragement to keep moving forward. Hey friends, I am super excited to be hanging out with you guys today. We are hanging out with Aimee, and Aimee is going to share her incredible story and her love of horses. And so she is the owner and founder of Triple H Youth Ranch. And she has spent some time with our family around horses, and so we've been incredibly thankful to have spent time with her. But today we want to hear her story about how she got started and about what she offers to our little community. So, yay! Thanks for hanging out with us, Aimee.
Hey, thank you so much for doing this. I've been really looking forward to this. I am a wife and a mother, and I have 4 kids, and we live here in Ripon, and we live on 15 acres. And we have horses, and you know, I have loved horses ever since I was a little girl. And one thing that I love about God is that I believe that He creates us with passions and things we're interested in. And the exciting thing is that we can use those passions to share His love in this world. So that's what I'm trying to do with Triple H Youth Ranch.
That is awesome. So you have had a love of horses for a really long time.
Yeah.
Maybe tell me about how you got started with your first horse.
Oh, so, you know, one thing I wanted to say in this interview was that my life wasn't always easy. I was raised by a single mom who was a hippie down in Big Sur, and we lived kind of a crazy life until she became a Christian when I was 7, and our life started to improve and get more normal. And then she got married to a Christian man when I was 15, and he was so kind to buy me my first horse when I was 15, and I had been wanting a horse ever since I was a little tiny.
What was your first horse's name?
My first horse's name was Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, okay.
And she was a little mare, and turns out we think she was a Mustang because she had a freeze brand on her neck. And
she had a little spice to her?
Oh yeah.
A little cinnamon joke.
She was kind of difficult. You couldn't tie her up because she would pull everything down. She was a puller. So
yeah. That is awesome. So then you were telling me a little bit about after you graduated from high school, you went to a special program and really focused on horses.
And so what I also wanted to say right before I answer this question is that our church started a youth ranch ministry, and so when I was 15 and got that first horse, I was part of that youth ranch ministry, and I became one of the junior instructors out there.
As a student, so you were involved like as a student. Okay.
Yeah. And then after I graduated from high school, I had the opportunity to go to a horse mastership program and really learn. We did hunter jumpers. And we learned how to train a horse that had never been trained before. We learned how to ride a horse that was already trained. We did a lot of book learning and went to shows, and it was a wonderful experience. And I think it set me on a path of knowledge and being able qualified to teach, really. So
a really solid foundation.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so you have 4 kiddos of your own. I mean, I say kiddos, but yours are like grown up.
Yeah.
And then you just had some passions and desires to invest in your community through horses.
Right. So what happened was in 2010, I was listening to Focus on the Family, as I often do. I love that program. And they interviewed a woman named Kim Meter, and she has started a ministry in Bend, Oregon called Crystal Peaks Youth Ranch, and that interview just resonated with me and touched my heart so much. I decided to order her book, and I was selling real estate at the time, and I remember I was reading the book in my office, and tears were streaming down my face. The book is just so beautiful, the stories of how she talks about horses helping kids, and they rescue abused horses, rehabilitate them, and then use those horses to work with abused and neglected children. And the stories of the healing and everything are just amazing. So I was inspired to try to do the same thing. I had, a ranch with a horse facility on it. I had about 6 to 8 horses, I can't remember at the time. And I was already teaching some lessons on the side, and I used the horses for my own children as well. And so I decided to try to start a ministry, and a man helped me start a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we decided to call it Triple H Youth Ranch, and that's what we're talking about today.
And Triple H stands for, tell us what it stands for.
The 3 H's. The 3 H's stand for horses, hearts, and healing. And I really believe that people's hearts can be healed by being interacting with horses and with people that love them. So,
and one of the ways that we even got connected with you, a couple of years ago, our family has grown through foster care and adoption, and we have just walked through some pretty significant challenges. And so we have, our oldest kiddo who loves horses, who loves to be around them, who cannot get enough of them. And we, have another kiddo who really found a safe place with horses. He was able to find a connection and thrives around animals. And so that was kind of one of those things that we wanted to continue to do that. And so that's kind of how we got started with you. And so the 2 of them were the ones who were passionate about it. The other 2 have kind of ebbed and flowed. Sometimes look it on, sometimes they don't, really want to. But I feel like it's just been good for them to all be a part of it. And so we've loved being out at your place.
I've loved meeting your family, and I loved working with Specially. He just does such a good job and seems so happy and content being on a horse.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Mom, can I trot?
Yeah.
Can I trot?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about, you have 2 stories. I think one of the things that we really want to communicate is why working with horses is important, why it matters for kiddos, why it matters for people, and maybe you have 2 stories that you would love to share with us that really have left a mark on you.
Yes. So one thing that we talked about wanting to make sure we bring out in this interview is that I went ahead and started this ministry in 2011, and I formed a relationship with some foster care agencies and with a ministry up in Stockton, and had started having some kids come out, and it was coming along. But in the busyness of life, I and still raising 4 kids, I found that I was not doing as many sessions and stuff as I would like.
So tell me maybe one of the stories of one of the young gals that you spent time with.
Yeah. So when I first started, there was a couple of girls that came out, and they were homeschooled, and they were telling me that one of the girls was so nervous and struggling at school that she decided not to go to school anymore, and so that's why they decided to homeschool.
Yeah.
And she was struggling so much that when they would go out to a restaurant, she couldn't order. She was too nervous to speak to the waiter, and her mom would have to order for her. She could not talk to somebody on the phone. And by coming out and working with me and with the horses, she told us that her life has completely changed. She used to ride Sunny, one of our geldings, and she became so much happier and more confident, and was no longer struggling with feeling unconfident. So that was one gal that really stuck out to me. And then also there's another girl that when I first started in 2011 was referred to me by a foster care agency, and she was little. She was probably only about 8 years old. And she was actually living in a group home, and the judge had ordered that that the group home get her horseback riding lessons because she loved horses so much. And anyway, she started coming out, and I had no trouble working with her. She was just wonderful to work with. She loved the horses, about as horse crazy as I was at her age, and I could tell she was probably never going to outgrow it. And so she would come in and out of my life through the years, and I would always wonder about her. And then about a year ago, they called me up and said, "Hey, we want to do another session with Kori." And anyway, she came out, and she was probably about 14 now, 15, and she had a cell phone, and we were able to exchange phone numbers and started to be able to communicate over the phone, and have been able to build a much closer relationship. And she has shared with me that she's now living in a foster home, and she's really happy to found a family to be able to live with. But she shared with me that she's lived in 28 different homes in her life, and she's really struggled through the years.
And 28 different homes.
Yes.
Like that is just, it is crazy, and it makes me just sad to know that is the reality for some kids. And so through your program, you are able to connect kids who come from hard places, who are dealing with big, heavy, hard things, and create a safe place for them to connect with horses.
Yep.
I think sometimes humans can be hard. Sometimes humans without trauma can be hard to connect with. And so I feel like that is just an incredible opportunity for anybody to be able to connect with a horse. Tell me a little bit about what your program looks like.
So like I was telling you earlier in this interview, it kind of fizzled out with me getting busy with raising 4 kids, sports. All my kids were athletes. So I was having a hard time keeping the ministry going, and it kind of fizzled out. But it was still in my heart, and I really wanted to get it going again. So a year ago, I formed a new board of directors and kept the same name, still had everything the same, and just a new determination to get it going again, because my youngest daughter is just graduating from high school, so I feel like I have time now to focus on this. And so the programs we've come up with are, we're doing a Saturday program, and once a month only at this point, and it's a free program for kids who qualify for it, and that they do a scholarship request, and we approve them. It's a free program, and we do a chapel, we do chores, we do grooming and tacking up, and then we do a little bit of riding.